Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 125 of the New Nerd Podcast. I'm your co-host, Heezy, and I'm joined by Quasimodo himself, Patrick O'Boyle.
Who? What?
Hetty B!
Hello.
I don't know if you saw Need to Nerd's tweet last night.
I did.
I'm just going to read it for the people. You can follow us at Need to Nerd Pod on Twitter, where it says, "Our boy, O'Boyle's voice is clear as the bells. Quasimodo loves. His talent is truly amazing, strong, poignant, and in all ways believable."
Yeah, we got a pretty good review. We got another one today.
Patrick O'Boyle?
Yeah, you came and saw my show Friday night.
That's how you spend a Friday night.
Yeah. With your wife on the town, singing some theater. It's great.
It's pretty good. I gotta ask.
No, you gotta take a drink.
Yeah, try not to cough. So we sit down, and the shade hasn't hit just yet. We're like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes early. Also, it was so funny. I walked in to your show. I'm walking, we're like looking for seats, and all of a sudden somebody goes, "Spencer Howland!" And I was like, what? I look up, it's your mom, and she's like,
Wow.
"You're so sweet for coming to see my boy." And I was like, oh man, I think your mom is such a sweetheart.
She's pretty great. She's come to every single show this weekend.
I asked her too after the show. I was like, "How many of these are you going to?" She's like, "Basically all of them. We're basically going to all of them."
Well, all of them this weekend. She leaves for Hawaii on Tuesday. So that's nice.
But I gotta ask, like, I mean, I know that it was hot, but like, how hot is it being covered in whatever you have to wear to play Quasimodo? Because I don't know if people know this, but Paddy is not a hunchback. He doesn't actually have any skeletal issues that I know of. So like you're in 92, 95 degree heat. You're under spotlights for the show. Like how hot is it up there?
Covered in makeup. So sweat is like taking those chemicals and like putting them into your eyes and all that nonsense. I'm very fortunate to have an ice vest that was gifted for me to use by our Frollo. So I've got 2 ice packs on the front of my body and then 4 on the back. So that helps while I still get very sweaty and like moist. It's not as hot because I've got those ice packs and tons of fans in the back. I'm a fan of fans, for sure.
Well, we're not here to talk about the Hunchback of Notre Dame. We will be talking about that in the future. We are here to talk about how we pick shows, specifically TV shows, and things that you can do to help you decide a show to watch. Before we do that, though, we want to give our nerd fact of the week. Almost every week, when I remember to do it, I drop a little nerd fact. And this one is about a show that we've been reviewing since Paddy joined the show a few years ago. And that is Cobra Kai. Which Cobra Kai cast member got their black belt before this new season? Paddy B? Yes?
Probably Sholo.
It was not Sholo.
It was not Sholo. Yeah, he's been a busy boy.
Mary Mouser got her black belt in preparation for the new season.
That's exciting.
And specifically karate, I should say.
Sure. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought I ended up on Cobra Kai TikTok today and watched so many Cobra Kai videos. It was so fun. I think we're days away from the premiere of the new season.
Oh wow!
So,
see, you go away to Paris, France, and for a few months, and release dates really sneak up on you.
Before we get into our main topic, we want to talk about our Discord. It's a little quiet. We gotta get a draft set up and things like that. The off season has officially begun. Training camp has officially begun for football. Dude, got to get our fantasy football going.
Did you see Patrick Mahomes throw to Xavier Worthy the other day?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cool.
I did see that. I think the one that I am most excited to see is this Atlanta team with like a reasonable quarterback.
Yeah,
Like, I think that will be cool, but could be wrong.
yeah.
And then if you want to share the show, that's a great way to help us out. And then don't forget that if you subscribe here on the YouTube channel, once we get 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give away a Nintendo Switch and the newest copy of Smash Bros. Whichever new Switch comes out, whichever Smash Bros. Is the newest one. This is in partnership with Smash Through, which we do finally have an episode we're planning to record. We've been on a long hiatus, just kind of like chilling, but we have one coming up. Let's go to our main topic. It is how we pick shows. And I figured we kind of popcorn this. We kind of just relax and just kind of go back and forth on like things that we consider when looking for or picking a show to watch. Paddy B, I'm going to let you go first. What is one of the first things that you consider when you're kind of picking a new TV show to watch?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people don't do this, but I look at various reviews. So I use things like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. It's things that we include with our podcast, right? Whenever we talk about a show, we have those to reference. So I like to use those, not as my first necessarily thing that I go to as far as like if I was to rank them or put them in order as far as steps go, but not everyone uses reviews, and that's something that I do like to use.
Awesome. I have to amend something that I said on the show. Season 6 already, part 1, came out on July 18th of Cobra Kai. So, early in the show, I made something wrong. Speaking of reviews, I was just looking at reviews for that. And I'm not a review guy. I reference it on the show because I know that it is important to people. But for me, like, I'm so much about trying to go into things with as little expectations as possible that sometimes reviews can really skew things for me. And I try to avoid them, to be honest. But I know that a lot of people find it super important. Like, they have reviewers they trust, websites they trust, and stuff like that. And it's like a pretty big thing for some people.
Yeah. It's almost like... well, especially when you find someone that you like or like that has made recommendations that you've ended up liking, right? And you build that kind of trust. It's almost like having a good friend who tells you about a show, which happens to be one of the other ways that I help find shows.
Yeah, for me, one of the first things that I really care about is like, what type of content is it?
Mm-hmm.
So, my wife texted me today. She's like, "Hey, they made a receivers show like they did the quarterback on Netflix," and I was like, "Oh, that's a type of content that like I already really really enjoyed the quarterback. I thought it was like one of the better sports shows I've watched." So that type of content really reels me in. Like I'm more likely to now watch that than other stuff. And I think about things like The Last Dance and you know, I'm not like huge on reality TV. So like the quarterback like kind of hit a really good spot for me where it was like it wasn't reality TV, it was like a docu-series following people.
Mm-hmm.
I tried Hard Knocks last year. And I'm not watching it this year, for example. So it just kind of changes, and you know that's just sports content, right? Like I loved The Last Dance, for example. I thought that was amazing.
That's interesting as a Patriots fan. Like I think a lot of people
The
did
Last
not,
Dance.
or the maybe I'm thinking of a different Patriots docuseries.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, because I know a lot of Patriots fans think that it's just like crapping on the team,
Slander.
like everyone else's opinion on the Patriots, and not like
But I think about like kind of other things. We're talking sports shows here, but
mm-hmm.
the type of content that it is can be pretty impactful. So like I think about Smallville. It's like a kind of a villain of the week superhero show, or baddie of the week superhero show. And I really enjoyed the first little while of Arrow and Flash for that reason, kind of following that formula. And that type of stuff like really helps. Like the type of content that it is and the way that it's presented is like really high on my list.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of in that same vein of like the type of content. I think for me, like not necessarily. Well, first off, I was thinking about Man of the Arena, not The Last Dance, different GOAT sports show. But it's for me, it's kind of genres. Like I'll watch most anything that's superhero based, right? Like I've loved the Marvel TV shows when it hasn't necessarily been the most popular thing. Like right now, we're almost through with The Boys. Season 5 or whatever the latest season is. So I, in relation to the general content, breaking things down into genres can be pretty helpful. In that same vein of where it's something that something that's familiar. So you kind of have an idea of what you're getting into.
You mentioned something before we switched about friends. And like having a friend that you trust and things like that. One of the reasons that I haven't watched The Boys is a friend that I trust told me how vulgar and gruesome it is. And like one of the things that I personally don't love from like the Game of Thrones stuff, I think we talked about it on the show, is like I just think that like unnecessary gruesomeness is like not my thing. And so I think Friends are really good for that type of stuff and understanding like what you're getting into is like, oh, have you watched this, or have you, did you watch the first episode? Like how far did you get? Things like that. And it's funny, right? Because like I think part of the point of doing this show is so that we can share our thoughts on different things with people, and hopefully we can kind of become that friend for some people. I think about some of our longest series that we've done on the show between My Hero Academia, The Good Place, and Cobra Kai, and just like I hope that some people got to enjoy that type of content and enjoyed our thoughts on it, and hopefully we get to be that type of friend for those people. I think genre is like a pretty big deal. There's some things that I don't know that it works for. So like for example, if you're gonna watch an anime or you're like gonna pick a new anime to watch, there's so many genres within anime that it doesn't quite work out that way.
Right.
And then I think about like, I don't know. I guess a lot of it works. Like the thing is that like there are genres within sitcoms, right? And like I don't know that I love every type of sitcom. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think that works too. Kind of with like, for example, with reality TV. Like, my wife is in the other room as we're speaking, watching Big Brother. Just loves Big Brother, but that's not necessarily the case for like all reality TV shows.
Yeah, that's fair. My next one is pop culture. I do think that like there is a world where I just would not have watched The Tiger King if it wasn't, the thing to watch during that part of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was that we were all hiding away in our houses, and we needed something to watch, and it's what was there. Like, part of it was the situation, but I get what you're saying about pop culture. Like, I think a lot of that. I think last week we talked when we were talking about House of Dragon and how like you had that rule about when you go to work, like if you hadn't watched the episode by Wednesday, like that kind of pop culture and work culture can really help get you and keep you into a show if like you and all your coworkers are watching it.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, like we just talked about The Last Dance, like that was another one that was like, oh, like where are you at in The Last Dance? Like how far did you get so far, and like things like that. And I think that I'm not always going to jump on something that's part of pop culture, but it does, when you feel like you're a part of something, that does help me pick a show. And I know that's like a basic answer, but like it really does make things like that more enjoyable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why some people seek out communities of the things that they love, right? It's like you get to capture that on an individualized level, whereas like when it's a pop culture thing, like everyone is doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's why like just nerd culture and pop culture stuff like Comic Cons are so popular to get to kind of um, you know meet to interact with your tribe.
Well, what's your next one?
My next one is just kind of browsing the streaming services. There are just so many options nowadays that we like really will just sit down, like go through if something catches our eye as far as being interesting. We'll see if there's a trailer for it. Um, so probably like trailers. Maybe I'd kind of change that from browsing to like watching trailers, because I think they do a fair job of giving you a general idea of what the show's about, and then you can make a decision after that. I know some trailers have been deceptive for people, but I think in general they're a good source of information.
Yeah, I actually think that like there are a few places that do this better than others. So I just pulled up Netflix on my other monitor, and it's like one of them is casual viewing. It's like one of the like for me.
I could pass.
Sorry, listeners. I didn't realize that hovering over this would play sounds. So like exciting Japanese TV shows. So like there's one for anime. Casual viewing has How I Met Your Mother, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Young Sheldon, and Blue Mountain State. All four of those shows I've seen every episode of. Like it knows the type of thing that I like. Cartoons. The first three are Avatar, Mystery of Erebos, and Legend of Korra. Funnily enough, all made by the same person. Or two people. So it's interesting. Like I think it does a good job, and sometimes I think that it's like it's hard. So like one of the things that's recommended to me a lot that I haven't watched yet, but I'm quite sure that I would like is like Suits. I've never watched Suits, and I know that like I think last month or so Suits got really popular because of its like on Netflix specifically. But yeah, like I like it is one of the things that is like today's top picks for you. I think that it's hard. Like you have to know what type of show you want, and it like you have to engage in the platform for it to know, right? So like critically acclaimed TV shows that are recommended to me, just to name some of them: The Good Place, what I believe is the literal best TV show of all time. The Flash, The Witcher, Dexter, One Piece, Arrow, Grey's Anatomy, The Umbrella Academy. I have not heard anything about The Umbrella Academy, but it's been recommended to me on.
Yeah, it's that kind of like super family, like it's a hero show, of like people with special powers. So like that makes sense. Talking about like interacting with the platform, that's something that we've been doing with Amazon. Like, yeah, any time where it gives you like a recommend, like, did you like the show? Did you not like the show? Like we try and improve our algorithm by giving responses so that it'll do better for us. The other thing, as far as it's kind of in the same like family as browsing, is something that I will like to do is just to see what's new on a platform, because sometimes things either change or leave, go to a different place. So I will in Google I'll type new to and then whatever streaming platform, and it'll just tell you all the newest stuff that got added most recently. So like if there's like a movie that like we were wanting to maybe see in theaters but didn't get a chance to go see, it finally has made its way to a streaming platform, or time catches up to you and you realize, oh, this show finally came out that I've been wanting to, that I heard about through those other methods. It's good to find those things there when trying to pick a new show. And then I can go to the other things like Friends, like the trailers.
Yeah, I'm like one of those weird people. So for those who don't know, I got I got Disney Plus like day one.
Yeah, same.
And I don't know if we talked about this on the show before, but that means that I have Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for $5.99. And so all those Disney Plus, people have increased prices for their Disney Plus and stuff. Mine has never increased. I pay $5.99 for life for all three.
Oh wow, maybe I didn't get it day one. Mine's like 20, I think.
Oh no, yeah, you didn't get it
for all three. Okay,
I was like literally one of the first humans to get it.
That's awesome.
It might be $7.99. I don't know. It's under $10.
Yeah, that's great.
And
it's just never gonna. That's never gonna go away.
Literally, just will never cancel. And so because of that, I have a lot of platforms. We got Peacock so that we could watch the Olympics. We have Paramount Plus because it's $2.99. We have Amazon Prime, so we have Amazon TV.
Yeah.
And then the only one we ever talk about canceling is Netflix. It's the only one we ever do we how often do we really use Netflix? And the thing is, it's so funny because every time we talk about canceling, it's there's The Witcher and there's Cobra Kai, and it is honestly only Netflix exclusives that even get us close to keeping it.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Same thing too. Especially having YouTube TV, you get access to some of the stuff that is not necessarily on the streaming services through a form of regular cable.
Yeah, and we have YouTube TV for the NFL, and thus I don't know. It's kind of hard. I feel like I'm paying as much for TV as I was with cable, but it's way better, which is nice.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't start doing the combo things that I'm seeing around. And then also one of the things that I'll say, one of the things that'll help you in picking a show, services wasn't on here, but I thought we should mention it, is if you get a free service with a thing, so whether it's a phone plan or whether it's there's lots of ways to get Max or Netflix or whatever with either your phone or your internet or whatever. Those bundles really do help.
Yeah. For example, we have Walmart Plus for the bartending business. Mm-hmm. It also helps because there's a gas discount, which is nice. And then it just comes with Paramount Plus, something that I just would never really have. But we have access to that through.
Yeah. We have Max through our AT&T plan. Mm-hmm. For when we signed up, we got it rolled in.
Yeah.
And I think that that type of stuff, it's if you're already going to have this thing, make sure to take advantage of those things. And I will say that there have been times where I did not watch something because I just was not going to have the service. I'm just yeah. I have Peacock now, but there are things that were on Peacock that were exclusive that I just didn't consume. I was just I'm not.
For what it's worth, I don't think you need Peacock to watch the Olympics if you have YouTube TV, right? Because you can just, you have the normal broadcasting channels. Right?
I don't know. That's how my wife sold it to me. If that's true, okay. She did a really good job of selling it.
But if that is the case,
the next thing I want to talk about is it's a little bit with pop culture, but the ability to watch something with others. I specifically think about my wife, or you, or Mason, or Matt, or my friends. Let's watch this thing. Let's do this. I think that helps a lot. for me specifically, uh, if there's something that my wife and I will both enjoy, it like shoots up my list.
Mm-hmm.
I try to watch a lot of things. Like my wife is like a big Bachelorette person, and I love Bachelor in Paradise. For those who don't know, really sad we don't have one this year. But my wife has been like binging Love Island or whatever, and like it's like supposed to be kind of like that, and I just can't watch it. I'm like, this is so cringe.
So yeah, I think Love Island is super cringe. I came home. This is I have to tell this crazy story about that show specifically.
Okay.
So I come home from a dress rehearsal. This is the Thursday that we were gonna watch House of the Dragon episode 4, right? That the crazy nonsense wild episode. And I walk in the door and my sister is there with my wife watching Love Island. And I'm like, what are we? And I got a bit of the backstory. Apparently, one of my sister's best friend's exes ended up on the show. And so it was like, it just got them into it. And yeah, it was, I couldn't stand it, but I get why people like it.
Dude, here's the thing, man. Like, there are seasons of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette that, like, because I watch it with my wife, like, I get invested. There are some where I'm just like, I can't watch this. This is just a bunch of man-childs or, like, woman-childs, like, just being horrible to each other. Like, I just don't want to watch this. I don't want to participate in this medium. And then there are some seasons that are, like, really good where you're like, oh my gosh, these people fell in love. And, like, I want to see their love story, right? And I just don't feel that way with Love Island. Like, there's never been one couple on one Love Island where I'm like, they're going to make it. Like, they're in love. Not once. So,
yeah.
Anyway, trash TV talk aside, I do think that the ability... You laugh, but, like, my wife's like, I need some trash TV. Like, she'll say that.
I get it. I understand. But, man, it is not for me.
I do think the ability to watch with others is, like, really helpful. I talk about how much I watch My Hero Academia, right? I watch the sub by myself, the dub with my wife, then the dub for the show. And now I watch the dub with Maxwell, too. So, we're really consuming all the My Hero at this point. But I think that, like, that's also cool. Like, I haven't watched it yet all the way through, but, like, the Knuckles show is one that I want to watch with Maxwell really bad. And, like, I want to watch it more because I think Maxwell will enjoy it. So I think the ability to watch with others is, like, a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I to be honest, I completely forgot about that show. I still have to watch Sonic 2. So I've got a lot to catch up on.
You haven't watched Sonic 2?
Nah, bro.
It's pretty good. And then I think that mine is the last one, and I think episodic versus binging is like pretty important to me. For those who don't know, I'm a huge episodic guy to the point where it bugs my wife. Like, a show will be bingeable. Like, we watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the goated anime, the king, and we'd watch a 21-minute episode because that's how long animes are, and I'd be like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "No, what do you mean? Like, we gotta watch 3 more of this?" And I'm like, "No, I want to digest what I just watched." And she's like, "No, like, yeah, I could tell I would drive you crazy."
Yeah.
I love episodic.
Like, I might take like 10, 15 minutes, like, if I really needed to, like, process.
First of all, you haven't seen Brotherhood, so, like, you don't understand. Every episode is super intense.
Okay.
So it's like, man.
Okay.
Have we done Brotherhood on this show? I don't think we have.
I don't know if we have.
We should do Brotherhood. It's like the GOAT anime. Like, if we're gonna get you into anime, we might as well make you watch the GOAT.
Okay.
But, like, I do think that the ability to watch something episodic. So like if I get in on something and it's week by week, I can make time in my schedule to do that versus like if I binge something, like I think we watched like, I don't even know. I want to click on Netflix to look, but I don't want to keep ruining the sound. Let's see if I can do it. One Piece.
Oh, is the abridged version on Netflix?
Oh my god, it's so loud. Oh, stop! Hold on. No, I know. Oh yeah. So we watched over 20 episodes of One Piece on Netflix. Or between Netflix and Crunchyroll, right? And like there were days where we watched one. There were days where we watched three. And like if I was caught up on One Piece, I think I would like it better because it would become that episodic thing. And I am more likely to consume something if it's not if there's not like a barrier to entry for me. And I feel like I have to binge things if you can. And it's so funny because other people are the other way, right? And they're like, if I can binge something, I am way more likely to watch it.
Yes, 100%. Because I don't have that level of planning, and I will just take a night and just watch a bunch of TV.
Yeah. No.
And that's why we're great, is because we've got both of these perspectives and ways of watching things. Like, for example, I think last week we also talked about The Acolyte, right? How like I thought that it might help if there is any pacing issues, right? By like just binging it, that can improve a show for me. I have not yet. I have had not. I will have time after July 27th. Not before then.
You're too busy in Paris. It's fine.
I know.
Busy in Paris. I think that if there's one thing that I've kind of learned doing this episode today, because that kind of wraps up like the way that we pick shows, is that, you know, how one of the things to think about is like, how do you enjoy watching something? That can help you pick a show. What type of franchises or type of show or genre do you like? That can help you pick a show. You know, do you have trusted people? Is there a person that you can go to that like, oh, this person watches everything? I can definitely go to them and ask them if they've seen it and what they thought of it. And then like, you know, between like reviews and pop culture, is there a way for you to understand what you're getting into or to participate with others, you know, whether it's with friends or watching with other people? That's kind of my takeaway from this one.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, maybe hopefully we can be that for you. So if you have something that you want us to talk about, or you have a show that you're like super passionate about, let us know. We plan our episodes out every 2 months and are open to topics from the listeners. We'd love to hear either on YouTube or our Heezy Game Media Discord some suggestions of, you know, what we should watch.
I love it. Just to wrap up, you can find me at Heezy Game on Twitter, at Spencer13 Heezy on TikTok, as well as every week on Constructive Criticism, and whenever we want to record on Smash New Podcast. Paddy, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at PaddyBMTG, and then our podcast one is at DTNerd on TikTok. I will record a TikTok someday, I think.
I did not record one last week. I was going to record one about college football 25, and then just played college football 25.
Also, I think it's hilarious that you, and it happens a lot, but like it is Notre Dame, and you called it Notre Dame, and I
did I?
It took me everything within me. Yeah, it's like, oh, this guy's been playing a lot of college 25.
Did I really? Like on this episode?
Yeah, on this episode at the beginning.
That's so funny. I definitely have never done that before, as far as my knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
That's
but
so
we make the joke about that backstage. You know,
oh my gosh,
I was hanging out with Touchdown Jesus.
I made my wife laugh so hard right as your show was starting. Like, she had to like cover her mouth. I'm gonna tell the story on the podcast because it's so funny. I'm looking at the cast list. I'm like looking at the thing.
Oh, that program was.
And
I've got words about that stupid ass program. Sorry.
Oh wow, he swore on the podcast.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
You can edit that out. I have really strong feelings about what is done.
I'm like looking, and I'm like, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Did you know Frodo's in the show?" And she's like, "No, it's Frodo." I was like, "No, it's Frodo. Look, it says it right here."
Right there.
And she just, and then the show starts right as I said that, and she is like snorting laughing
during the walk down the holy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's perfect timing on that. No, our director had a meeting with the Murray City folks. Like we went through. There is a digital program that has our headshots, our bios, has all the correct information. In that program, they have a guy like you as one of the songs, which is from the movie, and nowhere in the musical.
Dude, I was so
there was a wrong name for songs on a lot of stuff.
During Act 2, I'm like looking at the program. I'm like, this is not what the program says.
No. I want them to stop for what it's worth for these last 4 shows. You can come see it on Monday the 22nd, the 25th, 26th, and 27th of July if you're in Utah. Come see it. It's great. But I want them to stop handing out those stupid programs and just make people use the digital ones so that they can have the correct information. Because it's so frustrating. Dude.
Anyway, you can find Paddy upset about programs at Murray's Amphitheater. Murray Park Amphitheater. Like, comment, subscribe. They have comments on Spotify now. Leave a comment on Spotify. Help us out that way. Leave a comment on YouTube. And we'll see you all next week as we talk about pulling up a schedule. Acolyte Season 1.
Oh, okay, so I do need to watch it sometime this week.
If you don't have time, we can do a different episode. But
okay, sounds good.
And it's only 8 episodes, and they're not all that long. But
okay.
Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you all next week with another episode of the Need to Nerd podcast.